Hey guys, welcome to Creativity Level Zero. I'm Steve,
And I'm Jim.
and let's just jump right into it. So, Jim,
Yeah.
I have had some feedback from our episodes. Okay, there's people that have listened to the episode where we talk about bathroom stalls. Let me go back and refresh people's minds if they don't remember. So, the episode of bathroom stalls, somehow Jim here did a scientific study
Mm-hmm.
where he went into the bathroom and jotted down which stall people were in order to figure out what's the percentage of stall that people prefer to go in, 1, 2, 3, or 4. This was a whole scientific study, 95% confidence interval,
Yep. Stamp of approval. Mm-hmm.
Stamp of approval. That's right. And so I had a coworker today tell me that she was flabbergasted by this whole conversation. She was saying, I can't believe that you guys put this much thought when you go to the bathroom.
She's just a lemming compared to us stall users.
Exactly. Well, I mean, she's a girl, so she uses a stall
That's right.
every day.
Oh.
And so I was like, yeah, but so this doesn't happen to you? She's like, no. Why would you spend so much time thinking about what stall to use? And I was like, well, there's just this whole mindset. We discussed it on the podcast. There's a whole psychological thing behind this whole thing. So I asked her what if she has any decision making, and she does actually.
Okay.
She chooses the cleanest stall, so she opens every stall and finds the cleanest.
That's not weird. That's not weird.
And she listens to every episode, so she's totally gonna hear this one.
Okay. Then that is weird. Wait, so she will do a visual inspection for cleanliness, but she doesn't take into account toilet usage into that equation?
Oh, no, she doesn't take into account, let's say, because we were discussing, if somebody's using a stall, you wouldn't pick the stall right next to that
Right, I don't want to
person.
be next to the person. Right.
But she said it doesn't matter to her. And so I asked her, it's like, that's an interesting thing. And she brought up, maybe it's because, women are more social when they go to the bathroom, that they don't care about having, because they invite their friends into the bathroom.
That's true. You're not a friend unless you go to the bathroom with another woman.
That's right.
Speaking from not experience.
I don't know what happens in there, some sort of magic and mystery. Who knows? But guys can only imagine. But yeah, so she doesn't care if she has to go right next to someone. She doesn't. If that's the cleanest stall and it's right next to someone, that's where she's gonna. That's where she's plopping.
So hold on a second now. Now you have me worried. Okay.
Have you worried? Okay.
What happens then if she sits in a stall next to someone? I see you're already laughing right now. I don't know why.
Because as you're discussing this, you're already chuckling. So I'm already going through my mind what possible question you're about to ask.
So what happens? You're sitting in the stall, right? And it's like, I'll call it an airplane stall, so it's a little more snug than maybe a handicap stall, right?
Sure.
And you park next to someone, and their foot touches your foot. What do you do?
I don't know how many times that happens.
Well,
I mean, what kind of wide stance do you have to be sitting on the stall?
First off, I stay as far away. Obviously, you could tell by my procedure. I don't want to be near someone. But if a person in either sandals or no shoes, if their toe comes onto my side, there's a problem.
Who goes and uses a stall barefoot? Oh my god, that's gross.
Oh, it's just getting me the shivers.
I mean, I don't know. Well, I'll have to ask her how she feels about that. But so after my conversation with her, it got me. I was like, you know what? Now I need to do my own study.
That's right.
So I went around my entire workplace and asked them the stall question, and 90% of people agreed with us.
Okay.
That
we're not crazy.
That you pick the furthest stall or the handicap stall, and if there's someone there, you pick the furthest one on the opposite side. 90% of people, both men and women, said it. So
Okay,
it
so
didn't
you
matter about the
removed.
social aspect of the female,
So and
you
I know
know.
you have a statistics background here, so you removed all the bias for gender and
Right.
age by asking all the
Exactly.
people. I love it.
Yeah, ask all of them. It's not a random assortment, just everyone.
Perfect. You don't have to pick a percentage of the population. You asked
That's
the
right.
population.
I asked the population. Yes. Except for one. So there's the one girl, and then one other person who picks the stall that's closest to the door because it flushes stronger.
What?
It has a stronger flush. Everyone like turned to him slowly and was like, "What are you doing in there that you need such a
What are you
strong
flushing? Does, does your does your toilet stalls at work have the power flush or they regular flush?
No, they're pretty powerful.
They're the
But
power flush, right?
yeah. But I guess that one is just like power flush times two. You know?
So I have a theory for this of
Okay.
why he likes this. Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but
Okay.
you know people are weird. Maybe he likes to sit down on the stall while it's flushing and get that rush of air right on his butt. Whoosh! Right up there.
As long as you're not getting Poseidon's kiss.
I mean, that's the thing. Those that's
When that little splash of water touches your butthole, right?
well, that's the thing. It's like I imagined your work had the power flush because most works want the power flush because you don't want to have a janitor come in and fix the stalls.
Right. Yeah.
Flush
No, I
everything.
haven't in my was it 5 years now? Oh my god.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years that I've been there. I've yet to see any of the toilets clogged.
Right. Power
So
flush. Yeah.
yeah, they're pretty strong, but I guess that one is just a lot stronger.
No,
Need
no.
to make sure
You have
whatever
to.
is happening in there is going down.
I want you to test it next time you're at work. I want you to be like, look, show me the stall, and you are gonna have to do a power
It's gonna get
flush.
really up close and like
No, I want you
watch.
to just sit on each of the toilets and do the flush. See how it is. You could feel
I'll
it.
see. Yeah, I'll see which one has a stronger suction
Yes.
while I'm seated on there.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, I'm glad our listeners are getting involved in some of these thought experiments because
Yes,
we're nothing if practical. The stuff we talk about.
right.
It's life experiences that can
This
be
is the
used.
important stuff, guys.
Hmm this is pretty much like, yeah, I'll say it's akin to getting a college degree. There are some college degrees that we're probably right on par with, and now, oh, this is a topic I wanted to ask you about. If you don't mind, I can just quickly
Go
ask
for
you.
it.
It's just a
Sure.
quick thing. Um, so with COVID, colleges were saying in the news, and you know we're obviously not in college, that they were thinking of doing um, college from home for a semester or a
Right.
year. And so my
College.
question
Yeah.
to right, so my question to you is, knowing how much we used to use the internet and YouTube videos and other stuff to learn and how good that stuff is, Wikipedia is now pretty strong, you know, and there's a lot of teachers online that put free stuff out. Do you think it's worth it for a freshman who's going to go into college to pay the 20 grand to now take their university from home?
There's a lot that goes in there
Yeah,
because
give me the story.
the 20 grand is split into a bunch of different things. So, that includes typically like housing and
Yeah.
library fees and things like that. And I think you still like the library still has to supply journals and stuff like that, which they do have to pay. So I think you still need to pay your library fees. Um, but as far as tuition goes, I think it's more the paycheck of the professor and whatever the school gets rather than anything else. Like that's what pays for that's what your class pays. Like that's the whole point of paying for
No, what
class.
I'm getting at is that
So whether it's online or not, I don't see why it would matter.
no, I'm saying you're a student now.
Right.
You're not going to get the college experience because you're not on campus, which
Yeah.
frankly, that's part of what you pay for to go and live on in university. And now you're going to be taking all of that online at home. What's the difference now from like a school like a Rutgers or something like that versus now like ITT Tech, which is like an online school.
Right, right. Yeah, no, that's a good question. I guess it levels the playing field between the online schools and the
Yeah.
regular universities, but I still think there's a legacy there with
Yeah.
regular universities that it would still be more reputable than a purely online.
Hmm. And that's all that matters. You get that.
Yeah,
You're buying that piece of paper, and not
that's
even a piece of
exactly
paper. You're buying the ability to write that on a resume.
right. I graduated college.
Yeah. And then for them to be like, should I believe him or should I check it?
No, I think these days they don't check at all
I had
because
them. I had them
they,
check.
they feel like everyone went to
Oh
college,
yeah.
so there's no point.
Well, I had them check it my first job, right out of college. They checked, and then
Okay,
at my not this job I'm in right now, but the job before it, they when I applied, they said, yeah, here's the contract to like start, but it's contingent upon a background check. And I was like, do whatever you gotta do. And they said, oh, you have to sign the background check because we're gonna get copies of all this stuff. And when I looked, I was like, there's a drug test in there. There's all of my colleges. There's like calling up all the previous job employers. Like there's HR departments in all these companies that say like, yep, Jim worked here. Yep, Jim worked here.
right.
And they were pretty thorough. I don't know why, but I guess I must have been one of those characters that they were like, we got to make sure he's not lying.
Yeah, you do look quite shady.
Yeah.
Lying on your resume.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Saying you're an executive assistant rather than a secretary.
That is me. I would do something like that.
But yeah, I personally hate doing online classes, but during these times, I'm a strong advocate for it because listen, we need this stupid virus to die, and
Mm-hmm.
the faster you do that, the faster everything can go back to normal. But
Mm-hmm.
not going to happen if you keep having people go in when you don't need to. So just gonna have to suck it up, do online classes. I hate them personally because I can't. Once you give the whole point of me going to school is to give me
Structure.
direction,
Yeah.
structure. Because once you tell me, oh, just do this at some point, well, now I'm gonna procrastinate. So,
It's
not
like
that I don't do that anyways, but now it's even more irregular
right.
because
So
it's not like I need to go to class at 10 a.m. It's just get this in sometime Wednesday. Like, oh, okay.
oh man. Wait, so before you used to drive to class and then like you're there, so you have to at
Yeah,
least listen. And then
right.
the teacher will be like, okay, here's when the homework is due or whatever, right?
That's right.
But now it's kind of like all the lectures are online, watch whenever you want and submit the homework by this date. And you're just
Yeah.
like, well, I guess I'll just wait till that date to see what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was like doing online classes. I couldn't do it. And even when they do the online lectures, they don't watch you. So
Yeah.
they're talking. I get bored. I'm on my phone,
Hmm.
and then the whole hour goes by of online lecture, and I don't think I heard a single thing.
And you're like, well, I'm not gonna rewatch this. That's
Yeah,
for
I'm not
sure.
going to rewatch a whole hour
That's
lecture.
for sure. This is where the gym technique can be perfected.
You're going to fast
Online,
forward through the
online.
lectures?
Yes. I
Oh my
think
god.
if I introduced you to the fast forward technique in college for online lectures, you would have loved it. You would have been
No,
like,
I already listened to things at 1.5 speed on
oh yeah,
online lectures.
yeah, and that's not fast enough. You're just like,
Yeah,
oh my god,
instead of an hour, it's 40 minutes.
yeah. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on 1.5 speed. Anything that there's a person just talking, like a commentary type video. Uh, if I was listening to a podcast like this, 1.5 times speed. And here's the problem. Then when you start watching something regular, you become impatient. And you're just kind of like, get it
Yeah.
out, man.
Is this how everyone talks?
Why isn't everybody talking so fast like this? It's just like, what?
I wonder if anyone listens to our podcast.
I would.
We already speak fast enough, I think.
Oh
That
no, we don't speak that fast.
no,
I think we
I
speak.
did hear feedback. Also, speaking of feedback, that we enunciate well, and
Well,
so
we grew up speaking English.
no. I mean, like, we enunciate our full words. We don't really slur or speak in any sort of jargon of any sort. So
I'll
not
take
too
it.
much slang here.
Oh, true. We'll take every compliment we can get. Yeah,
There we go.
trying to think so I've gotten some feedback. Unfortunately, it's been similar to the lines you had, which was Jim, you guys talk about some topics I'm not interested in for a long time. So that was one. And then the other one, which you and I've talked about at length, was just like some people are into uh, you know, always continually shifting into new topics, and other people are more like, I want to get my brain in one mindset, and then I want to stay
Right.
here and have a deep conversation about that.
Right.
And maybe we'll alternate episodes or something. That could be a cool idea for the
Yeah,
future.
I was thinking that, since I like to do the
You're deep.
like quizzes and stuff like that, like just focus on one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and yours are typically complete off the rails.
Ping pong. I'm like a
We
pinball
could,
machine.
we could alternate, and
Yeah.
then, some people could like the Steve episodes, and some people could like the
True.
Jim, but you guys should like all of them.
That's right. We don't compete internally.
That's right. But I'm the best.
Right. And we're all winners, but some of us win more than others. So what did you want to talk about today?
Well, I also wanted to bring up how a couple days ago we had a hurricane here
please
in the northeast of the United States, and it knocked out, I think there was 900,000 people without electricity.
In New Jersey.
Over 1 million people in New Jersey without electricity. I was one of them.
I don't know why that's funny, but it's funny.
Thanks. For 24 hours. I'll get into that. That's a fun story on its own. But I was at work while the hurricane happened. Granted, the governor made a state of emergency early in the morning. And so there was plenty of chance for, your bosses to be like, listen, guys, state of emergency. They say to stay indoors. It's COVID. You know what? You guys can work from home. No,
it's like a Sharknado, except COVID-NATO.
No, yeah, COVID-NATO. There's a bunch of COVID going around.
There's a whole hurricane full of COVID coming.
Exactly. So no, we just went right to work. They didn't care. You know what? If you guys can survive COVID, you could survive COVID in a hurricane.
If you can dodge a COVID, you can dodge a COVID hurricane.
That's right. So, get to work. For the first half of the day, it's fine because the hurricane's not there. Once the hurricane hit, shit hits the fan. Like, the power like flickered and went off for about a whole second. Okay, we have our own generators we have our own power plant on our campus at work. So it's pretty efficient way to just get your own power and not worry about the grid. But it still flickered and power went off. Well, when power goes off, all of the alarms in the building go off. And so there's just the main alarm is evacuate the building.
Oh,
and so you don't know if something happened to the building, somehow lightning struck the building, you're on fire, or if it's just from the power outage. Granted, it happened as soon as the power outage happened, but security was just, telling people to like get out of the building. So we're all in the lobby of the building. This is COVID times. Okay, you can see the confusion on the security's face. They're just like looking at the room full of people who might have COVID, all huddled together in the lobby, and they look at the storm outside. And there's just like a giant branch that blows across. And they look back and see all the people inside, and they say, well, the alarm is saying to evacuate the building. So everyone out.
Wait, so outside, the rain, is this like the rain that's kind of like slapping against the window, where it's just...
Well, luckily, for some strange reason, there was hardly any rain. It was just crazy gusts of wind.
Okay.
And literally, as we're waiting in the lobby, and you think I was joking, but no, part of the tree that's by the stairwell to get out of the building collapsed on top of the stairwell.
Oh.
Like, it was strong winds.
Wow.
And the security was like, we got to evacuate, guys. We just got to go. We got to go to the muster point outside the building. And you see everyone like, it's a hurricane out there. So people went and grabbed their like umbrellas. They went back in first of all to go grab their umbrellas.
This is the number one mistake in a movie.
I felt like I was watching that episode of The Office where Dwight starts a fire and everyone starts panicking. Like, what am I supposed to do? This is real.
And it's like, let me take the TV, throw it out the window.
Because at first they didn't think we were actually going to be forced out into the hurricane. And then when they heard that, like, okay, well, I need to go grab a rain jacket and an umbrella. And then immediately as we go outside, the umbrella breaks. It just tore it to shreds.
Umbrella shards flying all over.
Umbrella shards everywhere. You're just like, why'd you bring an umbrella?
Wait, so is this like one of those disaster movies where like the end of the world is happening and people are like, should we make a run for the car? Or should we stay in the building? But then you see like trees falling. You're like, don't go back in the building, get to the car. But somebody's like, I gotta go back and get my purse. And
yeah,
that was just like that.
It was just like that. Yeah, but imagine where the building that's telling you to evacuate is safer than where you're supposed to evacuate to. Like, all the security and the building alarms are telling you to evacuate, but there's a freaking hurricane out there. So
that's why those movies are tough to decide where to go.
That's right. And I gotta say, I think security did not do a good job. We should have probably stayed in the lobby instead of going out in a hurricane.
So you went out in that storm?
We went out, in the storm. So not only that, the fire department came. They didn't even check the building because every building was going off like the way. Right. He just shut off the alarm and told everyone to go back in. So you would think that would have dawned on security. Oh, it's just because the alarm went off. Okay, 15 minutes later, tower goes off again. Alarm starts blaring. Everyone evacuate. Everyone gathers. No one brought umbrellas this time. Everyone gathers in the lobby.
So the first time, they wanted you to leave the building to get to the special point that's far enough away from the building.
Yeah,
there
so
was
a muster point is like a place people are supposed to congregate if you're evacuating a building that's supposed to be safe outside of the building.
Oh, so they wanted you out there in the storm.
At the muster point.
Until the alarm goes off and everything's good.
Right, because that's protocol.
Oh, no.
That's protocol. That's what I'm saying.
I would have just ran. I would have just ran. Be like, catch me if you can. I'm
hide in the bathroom or something, just like that guy in Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I'd be like, I'm going back in and you can't find me.
So second alarm goes off. Now everyone is pretty certain we should just stay in the lobby.
Yeah.
But no. Security is like, guys, protocol, alarm sounds, we got to go outside. Now it's raining hard.
Oh, man.
And there's strong winds.
Wow.
For me, I didn't care because I found this entire scenario so entertaining and funny that I'm forced to stand outside in a hurricane while an alarm's going off for no reason because the power went off is just the epitome of what humankind is like these days.
Blindly following.
Yes, exactly. And I loved it because I would hope I didn't have a tree fall on me,
right?
But I felt okay out in the hurricane, but just the fact that I was forced into a hurricane is really funny.
So you're practically a storm chaser now.
That's right. I should just start chasing tornadoes at this point.
You've been into 2 hurricanes, or the same one twice.
The same one twice. That's right.
What is this like? What was this hurricane called? Was this the Great
This
Hurricane
one was
David?
the what was it called? Isaiah or something like that.
Ah, okay. I don't keep track of the names.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like teetering between tropical storm and hurricane. So
Hmm. I don't know the difference really. What's the difference? Hurricane's bigger, I guess.
yeah, hurricanes has stronger winds, and I think they get female names, and
Hmm.
tropical storms get male names supposedly.
Hmm. All right. Well.
And it goes in alphabetical order based on so every hurricane season you start at A, you move to Z, and same thing with tropical
So was there
storms.
like a Hurricane Jim that happened?
Well, not yet, right? Hij. This one was just I. So
Oh,
next one should be Jim.
yes.
Next tropical storm, Jim. Yeah,
Okay.
Steve, I'm way at the end of hurricane season, so
Oh. So when you were at work during the hurricane, now I'm obviously not living super close to you, and you're way closer to the shore. And from what I know about hurricanes, they're stronger by the shore.
right,
I had rain all day, and it was hard rain. Like when I said the slapping, it was like the rain was trying to knock on the window. It was like bam, 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 bam. But it was just rain, a little bit of thunder, some winds, but bad storm.
right.
What was it like by you? And how
No
long was it
rain,
for? No
hardly
rain.
any rain. It was just strong wind,
So
like
you
really.
lost power with pretty much no rain. That must have been so
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. Well, the wind was just insanely strong that it
That's
just
so
knocked out
weird.
power. Yeah, because when I was just driving home, it was even starting to be blue skies. The storm, like,
It was
it
one
came in
day.
at noon. It came in at noon, left at around like 4 p.m. That was it. But it did so much damage
Wow.
in those 4 hours that it was here. It was crazy. Um, yeah, on the drive home, I gotta say, it was one of the fastest drives homes.
Nobody was
You
on
would
the
think,
road.
you would think, well, one, no one was on the road because it was a state of emergency. Two, all the traffic lights were down, and since I just have to take a major road,
Oh.
they shut down all the side roads.
Oh, so you took that big road all the
The
way
big
down.
road,
Wait, this
yeah.
must have been the only
Every
time you
police
never hit a light.
officer, yeah, didn't hit a single light because there were no lights.
Oh, I've never.
There was a police officer at every intersection stopping people from getting on because this is a big road, and so
This
you
is the one
can't
I
just
take to your
have
house, right?
people making, yeah, you can't just make people make lefts on this road
Oh, no, no,
with no
no.
traffic lights. It'd be impossible.
Oh, that's
So
right, because you have to do the Jersey Jug on that one.
that's right, the Jersey Jug.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that must have been so cool to drive on there with no lights. That road, besides that one, there's only one other one in Jersey I hate more for lights. That one is terrible. The one you're on. It is terrible. It's like the
It is
lights. It's like the lights are purposefully out of sync with the traffic.
so what they do, and I feel like they think they're smart about it,
They're not.
is every time they install a traffic light, they put those little sensors at the intersection, and they see how many cars go
Hmm.
over that, and then based on that, that's how they decide the timing of the traffic light. But they do that for every light, so every light on that road has a different timing.
Okay. And you could just tell the lights are they're visible. It's like you go, you see the next one right there. And like
Yes,
but before you get to like 50, you already like, "Oh, do I have to brake now? Am I already
yeah.
braking?"
It can happen where you're just like, go stop,
Yeah.
go go.
So by me, they recently did a project for the city actually in my old apartment. If you remember my old apartment, you to get to my old apartment, you'd have to drive from the highway on one major road essentially, and on that major road there was a bunch of lights. There was the mall and a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
What they did was they had this big project where they changed all the lights, and they said they're gonna make it go with traffic. So in rush
That's how it is
hour,
by me, right? Yeah.
right? So in rush hour, it's green getting onto the highway. Like everybody can leave my residential area to get onto the highway to go where you want to go.
Okay.
But if during rush hour in the morning you wanted to come work where I live, you'd be going against the traffic. So you'd hit red light all the time. But there's not a lot of businesses like exactly where I live. And then on the
Yeah.
way home, everybody's going back to the residence. all the lights are green coming into the city. And then leaving the city, it's all red, 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 red.
Right.
I like that.
That's actually a good idea. No, by me, that one road that we talked about, instead of trying to fix the traffic lights, they just said, "Oh, between this hour and this hour, you're allowed to use the shoulder."
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember that. I'm driving.
Which creates all sorts of chaos.
People are
because
passing me, and I'm like, wait, can they drive on the shoulder? And then you're like, wait, now I have to turn because Target's over here. It's like,
yeah.
what?
Well, you should have been on the shoulder.
You should have been on the shoulder to make that.
Should have been on the shoulder a mile ago.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. New Jersey can be a little crazy sometimes,
Yeah.
but yeah, and but yeah. So, I mean, it was cool driving on those roads with no traffic lights.
Yeah, must have been awesome.
But it started to make me worried because I left work early because as soon as we got back in, even though power was still there at work, the ventilation system was down, and so
Wait, at
it felt
work?
at work. Yeah,
Oh, shoot.
so. Like the air felt super stagnant, and I was like, during COVID times, I ain't staying in here. I just told my boss, it's like, I'm leaving. It's like, Steve, did you finish your work? I don't care.
It's like I
The
can.
ventilation system is down. I don't know if I don't know if you've been to a bathroom where it's quiet
Oh.
because it's got no ventilation. It's super eerie.
It's like you're talking to your boss, and you're like, oh, I could feel people breathe. Oh.
Exactly. So I was like, nah, I'm going home. And I was happy to go home early, but as I was driving, and I just saw no electricity at every light on my way home, I was like, oh no, I sure hope I have electricity at home.
God.
And then you open the door, and it feels just as stagnant.
Oh no! It's like a sticky.
does.
It's like a sticky hot, and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
ugh.
You're like, oh no, the air conditioning's been down. I don't know how long I've lost power.
You're just like, I don't know if I even want to be in the house right now.
Exactly.
Oh, how did your pets do?
Well, there's one pet that likes the cold and one that likes the heat. So the one that liked the heat, he was totally happy. He was happier than ever because technically he's underneath the vent. During the summer, he's not happy.
It's under the AC. So
Under the
he's
AC.
under the AC, but then he's got his heat lamp for protection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a bearded dragon. They're desert folk. He doesn't like being under the AC, but he loved that time I had none. The other one, on the other hand, likes cold water, like 60-degree water. So once the house got up to like 75, he was not comfortable in his water
Oh no.
whatsoever. In fact, the second day I went to go buy a bag of ice, and I just put the entire bag of ice in his tank.
Was he okay
Just
with that?
cool him off. Yeah, he's fine. You could shove that thing in the freezer. He'll be good.
I've
done it.
You put him in the freezer?
Yeah. Technically, you stick that thing in the freezer. It's an axolotl, guys. You could stick it in the freezer, and it resets their metabolism. They go into like a state of hibernation, and then when they come out, it resets their metabolism because he wasn't eating.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, but now he's a voracious hunter. He's all good.
Yeah.
Once I stuck him in the freezer, he knows that he should eat.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So you got back to your house
Yes.
after a work
And-
day. Power's out.
After a work day, yes. And, leaving work early, I was excited to come home, play some video games, relax, watch some TV. None of that.
Excited
None of that.
to play video games.
Not only that, I tried to just use my cell phone.
Ooh.
There's no Wi-Fi. My house notoriously has poor reception.
Hmm.
So already, cell phone not working well. Now the whole neighborhood is using their cell
Oh,
phones.
that's right.
So not only was I getting poor reception, I was getting zero reception at that point because everybody's trying to get reception. It's like trying to call someone on New Year's Eve. Nothing. You're not
Jeez.
getting through whatsoever. And so I was like, screw it. I'm going to Taco Bell. So you guys thought I wasn't going to bring Taco Bell.
Hold on a second. I almost spit out my water. The first thing you thought of is when Oh, my power is out. I don't know what to do. It's Old Faithful. Old TB.
Well, so I didn't expect any of this to happen.
Right, right, right.
Okay. And so my phone was not charged. And the only thing that
Oh,
can charge my phone at this point
it's your laptop.
is no. Well, yes, I could have used my laptop, but I needed my laptop for entertainment, so we don't want to drain more battery off
Don't
the
drain
laptop.
it.
We'll get to that. Okay, we'll get to that. So it was my car. My car was what's going to charge
Oh,
my phone.
that's right. Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I need gas for my car. I need to get food because obviously can't cook.
Yeah. You don't
I
want to
could
open. You don't want to
technically.
open the fridge and freezer. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Because I could. I have gas, so I could
Gas
just grab a
stove.
lighter
Yeah.
and light it and cook something. But I was like, you know what? Let's just kill all these birds with one stone. Let's go Taco Bell. Now, I was already worried
Wait,
because I get to
you
Taco
thought
Bell.
this with the power outage across the city.
Yes. So I'm on my way to Taco Bell and the light right by Taco Bell is down. I'm like, oh no. Don't tell me Taco Bell has no electricity. Lord be
No way.
somehow Taco Bell has electricity while everything around it is dead.
Do they have their own generator or something?
I don't know how they do it, but they were up and running, and thank the Lord because I got my
Were there
Taco Bell.
people there?
Like workers?
Like eating a Taco Bell?
There was, yeah, but this was pretty early, so
Oh, that's right. It
it
was like
wasn't,
4:30.
it wasn't a long line. Well, I went at like 5:30. Yeah,
Okay, 5:30.
I hung out around the house for an hour
Yeah, trying to
trying to
figure out what's going on.
figure out what am I gonna do and realize what options I have, and then just saying screw it, going to Taco Bell after an hour. Um, but yeah, so got Taco Bell, get my order. I'm like, what am I gonna do now that I have my food? You know what? I need gas, so let's go to Costco, fill up on gas.
Wait, Costco always has long gas lines.
I know, but I did it on purpose because I needed to charge my cell phone. This
Oh,
needed to be
sure.
charged. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to go for the cheapest gas, which is Costco.
Yeah.
Longest lines, though, because it's the cheapest.
Yeah.
So I drove past my house again
Ooh.
and went to Costco, waited in line, got it. And then I did the most, basic stuff ever. I just sat in the Costco gas station parking lot next to the gas station and ate Taco Bell while watching YouTube on my cell phone because I was like, I can't go home. So, if you guys have seen in a previous episode, while I eat, I like to watch things, and I can't do that now. I can't do that at home because everything's down and I have no reception on my phone. So I can't watch YouTube on my phone at home, but I can watch it in the Costco parking lot. So I just found a nice shady spot under a tree, parked my car, unfurled my Taco Bell, and just sat there for like half an hour, 40 minutes in a Costco parking lot, just charging my phone, eating Taco Bell. That's right.
I'm
That's
out
how
of
low
words.
we got that day.
I'm honestly picturing, could Steve live in his car? And I think the answer
Yes.
is yes. You're just so comfortably saying it. You're like, you know what? I figured, look, the only alternative I have here is to go out driving to watch a
Yes.
show on my 2-inch screen on my phone while eating Taco Bell in a car all messy. There's
Yes.
no other thing. All those books at home? No. Not reading and eating. What am I, a caveman?
That's impossible to do.
I'm not reading and eating. Yeah.
I gotta look at my food as I eat, so I can't look down, get back up,
Yeah.
and then keep find where I'm at on the page again, and then eat again, look up. I can't do that.
You do take big bites. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But you didn't even go home to watch it on your laptop.
What am I gonna watch on my laptop? I have no internet.
Oh, that's right. You would have had to tether your laptop to your cell phone.
I can't do that
But you have no internet at your house. Yeah, your phone internet's really
I had
bad.
no reception, so I couldn't even tether. I would have gotten no,
Yeah, your
no.
phone in service at your house is pretty bad. Just from talking to you in your room, I can almost not hear you. I can't imagine with like everybody trying to use their cell phones.
Yeah, exactly. It was impossible. I couldn't even get on anything. I couldn't even load like Google.
Wow.
That day. So I was off the grid entirely that
Dang.
day. I had to go and hang out in a Costco parking lot and get back
Dang.
on the grid. But it really got me thinking at how much I rely on internet
You mean
these
power?
days. Power and electricity, yeah. But yeah, so once I was done, I went back home and I was like, what can I do for entertainment that doesn't require internet or anything like that? I was like, oh, I could read,
Nope.
or I could play video games. Still played video games, guys, on my Switch, which is handheld,
Ooh.
and my laptop. So used my Switch up until it died,
Oh,
used my
God.
laptop up until it died, and then read a book up
You
until I
read a
got tired.
book.
Yeah, and I got
Wait,
tired at
what did you
10:30
read?
because I was just so
10:30. Your body's like, look, I'm not used to this reading thing. I just can't do it anymore. It's dark outside.
No,
Power's
well, it's
out.
because it was so dark in the whole house because at that time the only light source I have is this tiny little lamp. That lamp, it like pumps in power, so like it light, so you can light up a whole room. You can
Right.
read comfortably with
Like
that
It's
lamp.
like a camping lamp.
Yeah, but your body still thinks, oh, it must be like 1 a.m. Look how
Right.
dark it is in this room.
Right.
Yeah.
Dang. So what was the night like without AC?
It was horrible. So I'm somebody who likes to be in 60
You
something
like it
degrees,
so cold.
especially while I sleep,
Yes.
because my favorite is to just cocoon in a big blanket. It's so much more comfortable. But no, I didn't get any of those luxuries that night. I had to open all my windows to get like a cross breeze going.
With like the summer of bugs. This has been a bad summer for bugs.
Exactly. And it just rained, and so the crickets were out in force. And so the crickets were out in force, and I don't think I've ever brought it up on this podcast, but my neighbors upstairs, they never sleep. I swear they're vampires. Okay. And that night was no exception. What were they doing with no power all night long? I don't know.
They were practicing a jig.
I don't know what they were doing, who they were feasting on, because they're vampires, but they must have been so happy with no power, but they were still out and about. And then at 1 a.m, some lady was yelling at her boyfriend or something. Listen, these are things that on a normal night, I have a fan going, it drowns out all sound. I don't have to listen to my neighbors, my outside neighbors, the bugs outside, the yelling girlfriends. All of that gets drowned out by the AC and the fan. That's it.
So were you like sleeping, or were you kind of like lucid sleeping?
It was I was sleeping, but I kept getting like woken up at random intervals just from sounds that I'm not used to anymore. Yes. And not only that, now I had nothing to cover myself. So I was just lying on top of the sheets, the worst.
It kind of reminds me of like when I go camping, where if I just go for one night, I never sleep because of all the wildlife outside. But if I go for 2 nights, and it's usually hot, the second night I'm a much better sleeper because your body's more accustomed to just like loud noises.
Right.
Or you're just so exhausted from the first night.
Well, I was really hoping at some point in the night my power was going to come back on and I could just shut everything, turn on the fan, and live my, sleep through my nice peaceful sleep. But no, didn't happen. Woke up, still had no power. I was like, well, what am I going to do? Who knows when this is going to happen? The electric company sites were saying, oh, could be in like 5 days from now. Like, what?
Oh
5
my
days, no
god.
electricity. What am I gonna do? So everything that I lost power on, I brought into work to recharge. I brought my laptop, my Switch, my cell phone
So you walked
charger.
into work and your
I had a
coworkers,
full backpack of electronics ready to get charged.
and there's no
The like
security for that.
extra batteries and stuff. What's that?
No security check. They're just like,
No, no, no.
so you get in there and your boss is like, that switch is for work? And you're
I
like, yeah.
don't know. I put it all in a backpack. Maybe they think I was being,
So how did you charge it?
proactive. Well, no. Then in my office. I have my own
Oh.
personal office. Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were in your own personal office
that's right.
doing
Technically, I share, but
doing God knows what.
yeah, and in these COVID times, we don't share anymore. But
Huh.
so I got my own personal. But yeah, every plug had a an electronic charged
You
up
have
to
a
it.
backup
So
charger for your cell phone? Like a
yeah,
backup portable one?
yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I did was when I heard the storm was coming. You know my mother. She sees it's going to rain on the news and it's a hurricane in her mind. So when she's a hurricane, it's like they went out and bought a generator. Like
Wow.
generator at their house.
Oh,
That's
good. They, they,
yeah.
they, they did a good choice that time.
Yeah. And when my mom was texting me about getting a generator, I was like, I should probably charge my backup phone battery. Like that's kind of what went through my mind because I'm like, yeah, this thing could run.
That would have been a good idea. Because I talked to my mom, and she's like, Steve, we got you some backup batteries for Christmas. Why didn't you charge those? It's like, Ma, I didn't know I was going to lose power. Who
Yeah.
Who thinks about doing that ahead of time?
I didn't think
And it's
either.
funny that you thought about doing it ahead of time.
Only because my mom spazzed out and texted like 50 times about the hurricane. And like,
Right.
Jim, do you have lights? And like, I don't have a lamp like you do. I just have flashlights. So
Oh, okay.
if it goes dark, I'm going to bed. Forget reading. 9 o'clock when the sun's down, it's over. Might as well just be tomorrow. And I had with my old car, the old Phoenix, I had this awesome battery thing that my uncle bought me. It was this big thing that was literally a car battery, and
Okay.
you charged it for like days.
Crank it.
No, you like should have. It was really heavy. It was like as heavy as a battery.
Jeez.
You charge it for days, and then it can literally jumpstart your own car. That's why they bought it for me. Because that
Right.
Phoenix was an old car, it was always having trouble.
That's right. That's right.
And it also had things like the air tire pump, but it was like onto the battery. So like you didn't even have to have the car running to pump air in the tire. Your car could be down, and you could be like, I can still put air in my tire. And
What's the point? You can't even drive it.
Well, if you get in a car accident, let's say.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, and you need to put air in the tire so you can like get it towed or whatever. And also, but the big thing on it that I loved was it had an outlet, so you could plug anything into it too.
Oh.
So that the thing I would do back when I was in college is I would bring that back to my room when we thought we were having big storms. So that way, like when everything was down, I just plugged that into my laptop. Fine. You know what? I have some downloaded shows here. I'll watch them all night. You know. But now that the Phoenix is gone, I was like, I don't need this hunk of junk big battery thing. Now it's gone, so now I have no place to save power.
Oh no.
I know. I'd be like you. I would.
You need to invest in a generator.
Oh, jeez. The lengths my parents went through, like they got the generator, and then like it runs on gas, but then they were like, oh, we didn't have the gas, so they had to go out and get gas, and like, oh,
Yeah.
can't get too much gas because gas goes bad. And I was like, oh, do you know how much gas to get? Oh,
I
well,
didn't even know gas goes bad.
yeah, like if you leave it in your car or you leave it in like a generator too long, it's bad for it. You're supposed to drain it out. So and they
I
had
guess
to
it's
get, yeah, I'm not sure. And then they had to get
okay.
oil for it too. So they had to get oil and they had to get gas. Then you have to like hook it up to your house. You can't just like plug stuff into it because the generator's outside. It's like pumping out
Yeah.
smoke. So like you had to take the big cables from
You
there.
don't want to have electricity and then you had carbon monoxide poisoning.
Exactly. So yeah, it was all
Blood
fiasco.
power.
It was a fiasco for them. Their main worry was losing all the food that they stockpiled up on.
Yeah.
And
My
I told,
parents, that's all they had really plugged into
yeah.
the generator was the fridge and the freezers.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. Is like, even if you have a lot of stuff, that's even better because it'll stay longer. You can just leave it for a whole day, not open it. But my parents. Power's out. First thing to do, check what food we have. Open everything. Grab the
Yeah, I
things we
didn't
want.
open. I didn't open anything when I had that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's best. That's best.
Yeah, and luckily my like I said before, went to work, charged everything. I was ready for a night,
The
you know,
apocalypse.
for a night of the apocalypse. I went home. As soon as I get home, oh, power's back. Oh, not only that, I went and bought ice on my way home because I was like,
Oh,
let me stuff some in the freezer because during these quarantine times, I've only been stockpiling freezer stuff.
yeah,
So if that stuff goes bad, I'm pooped. Like that's it.
right.
I got no food left. And my poor axolotl that needs cold water. So I bought 2 bags of ice, one for the axolotl, one for my freezer.
That's smart though, man.
Yeah, well, when I got home, all the power was back on. I didn't really care. I was just so happy. I was jumping for joy
Right.
that I had air conditioning. And I think it had only just recently turned on because it was still 75 in the house.
That's right. So you would even without power, you had to still work.
Yeah, I went into work the next day. Yeah,
Was
which
Sandy?
was a saving grace.
Which was it?
So
Sandy or Katrina when we had the hurricane that was out for like a week of power?
oh, Sandy for here in New Jersey. I wasn't here though.
Yeah,
I was in Alaska when this happened,
I
but
was
Katrina,
here.
I think, affected like Texas or
Oh,
something.
okay,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
Indiana.
when Sandy hit, I was working at the time, and I remember where I worked, which was like the Trenton area, had
But I got
it got hit, but then like they got back up and running faster than where our parents were.
right.
And I would drive from work back home and be like, power's still out here, and they lost power for a week. So I was like, I'm just gonna shower and eat at work, and I'll
Yeah,
just not go home. And
yeah.
like that was what I was doing because I didn't want to be home because it was such a burden to be without power. I was like, I can't live in the Stone Age anymore.
I don't know if you remember when I used to live in Alaska and I used to live in the cabin in the woods.
Oh,
And I used to have bad internet reception.
I do remember that.
And I used to just stay at work and all night long and play video
Yeah, you
games
played with
with
us
Jim.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, until like midnight. And then I would finally leave work and go.
Just go to sleep.
Yeah, the janitorial staff would just like walk in and be like,
And you'll just be like, no, it's fine, guys. Come on in.
yeah, it's fine. It's just me. Go by.
Yeah. And then you get back on your headset. Shut up, Jim.
Exactly. Start yelling.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, I think that's a little bit short, but it's not too bad. Might just be like 5 minutes short. So I guess we could call it here.
Sure.
Do you have anything
No.
to say, Jim?
Yeah.
No? All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. If you liked us, follow us on Facebook. We got Twitter. We have Instagram. We're CreativityLevelZero on Instagram. We're creativity_level_zero, the number. And you can find us on any of the podcasts, the regular podcast station. Usually it's CreativityLevelZero, all one word. And you can find us on Podbean as well. Thanks for joining us, guys.